All righty, welcome back to the TCI studio. As you guys have noticed, we're going to be in the studio a lot more, trying to do some in-depth coverage for you guys. Today we're going to talk about DJ. This is his team, as we talked about in some previous videos, Will, and just want to talk a little bit about, what he's going to mean to the team, how it's going to be different with DJ behind center, some of those types of things. Obviously DJ comes in as heralded as, the Lawrences and the Watsons, and we got to see that, which was awesome as a freshman. We got to see that on the road at Notre Dame. Obviously, it wasn't a packed Notre Dame stadium, but it was still a tough environment. He played lights out that game.
Tigers were down 10 points at that point in that game twice.
We got to see him take over BC just on a couple days' notice.
Biggest comeback in Clemson history.
We got to see some good stuff from DJ last year. Talk a little bit about, just we'll get into the football in a minute, but just, from a leadership and some of the other things, what do you think about DJ taking over the team?
Well, you hear a lot of good things, when you talk to players and other players and coaches about him, and they all talk about, first of all, his attitude, his overall attitude is just really, really good, and that he kind of like, everybody on the team is like, gets along with them, which is really important when you're the quarterback. You want him to. He's not only the face of the offense, but he's got to be the guy that also the defense looks up to and also respects. And so you see that. When you hear the defensive players talk about him from an attitude standpoint, just like he's always happy-go-lucky, he's joking around. He's always kind of fitting in. He doesn't just hang out with the quarterbacks or just with the offensive guys and the offensive linemen. He's going over and hanging out with the linebackers and the defensive backs and the defensive tackles. Kind of joking around, mingling with everybody, letting him know he's part of the entire team, and that eventually he wants to be the guy that's in front of all of them, that's saying, hey, follow me. I'm the guy that's going to take us to the promised land. And I think that's kind of where he is, and you're already seeing that even as a true freshman, him just kind of come in, his personality, his persona, they just all kind of embrace that. And so you can see that it's going to, and you did see that, I think, in the two games that he started, it bodes well for Clemson.
Well, no, DJ is about team. He's not about DJ. He's about team. I'll give you two great examples. One example was when he was going through the high school circuit, he was more concerned about doing stuff with his high school team and the 7-on-7 folks getting ready to go win a state championship than he was going to the opening and doing some other events. So he was more concerned about helping his teammates. So that really stood out to me. And then I think the fact that he came to Clemson knowing Trevor Lawrence was going to be there also says a ton about this young man. He didn't just say, well, I'm not going to go there if I can't be the guy and start year one. I'm so wonderful myself. He was more about team. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to learn with Trevor. I'm going to learn the system. I'm going to do what I can to help Clemson, which, as we talked about earlier, he did a lot last year to help Clemson. But just, I think, leadership-wise, there's a lot of good characteristics, I think, that'll bode well for the team the next few years.
There's no doubt, man. When you think about, you heard Dabo say during Trevor's pro day, right, that the thing that impressed him the most about Trevor was Trevor never once asked about any other quarterback on the roster or who they were recruiting. And he said that was impressive to him. DJ's another level because he knew Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson. He could have gone to those other schools, any one of those other schools, and Robert, me and you both know, would have started at those schools and would have started as a true freshman. But he wanted to come to Clemson. And so why? Because he likes Coach Sweeney. He believes in what Coach Sweeney's telling. He believes in the culture. And he wants to come be a part of a winning program that he knows is all about team, all about the program, all about the culture before any individual. And that's what wins championships, because he knows what wins championships. He was on a national championship runner-up team and a state champion team in California, where they, what were they down 28 points in their state championship game, and he rallied them from behind to win that game. This guy is a winner. He likes to be around winners, and just he feeds off that kind of stuff, and you could see that last year and with this program.
Yeah, he came in so prepared, going through the challenges out there playing in Southern California, and the competition he faced. One of the key guys he competed with is going to be the guy at Alabama this year, so they'll get to battle once again, hopefully in the playoff. All right, let's talk a little bit about DJ as the football player, DJ on the field. You know, one of the things I think we're going to see a lot more of is the power running game. Obviously, DJ's, you know, kind of we thought Taj Boyd was built as a quarterback. DJ takes that to a whole nother level, and his arm is a cannon. So, you know, we're going to see that ball going everywhere. We're going to see that ball going deep down the field. 31, not going to be a whole lot of questions about who's going to get the football.
Yeah, there was like a video, wasn't there, like where he threw the ball 70 or 80 yards last summer, was it, I believe? It was on Twitter. I guess you can find it. It was unbelievable to watch that ball and where he threw the ball and where it ended up landing. Just unbelievable. He's got a cannon for an arm. But what I liked, what I saw, even though he still probably needs to work on it a little bit, but I like he did show some touch in those games. He had a couple passes early in that game against Notre Dame, you remember, that were maybe thrown too hard. You could tell he went over, talked to Streeter, they worked it out, and then later in the game, you saw he adjusted. And he was taking a little bit of that sting off, kind of he was amped up a little bit, I guess.
Well, Mark said that's not on DJ. He said that's on the receivers.
And it is.
They need to catch the ball.
They do need to catch it. But hey, you still, as a quarterback, you got to know certain passes, how much touch you put on it. You know, and that just comes with experience and talking to your quarterback's coach and understanding you're being coached up to understand it, absorb it, and then go do it. And that's what he showed last year. And, I mean, when you look at, I mean, everybody's impressed with the Notre Dame game, and that was very impressive. I was always been more impressed with what he did against Boston College, because here he is, a true freshman, his first start, and his team's down 28-10. Not his fault. He's done nothing wrong at this point to why they're down 28-10. Defense is just having a bad day. Things just aren't going right for the team overall. He could have just folded, man, and said, you know what, not our day. I ain't going to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't. He kept the team together, and he slowly started bringing that team back. And he did it with not trying to go hit the long ball right off the bat, right? He wasn't trying to hit the big plays. He just took what the defense gave him, trusted that his defense was going to adjust, and that he was going to get the ball back and be able to do some more things. That game impressed me more than the Notre Dame game, because he didn't panic against a team that they were expected to just roll all over, and they got behind. He never panicked, and he led Clemson back on the largest comeback in Death Valley history for a Clemson football team.
Well, yeah, exactly. That was a big day, and, you know, had things gone the other way that day, you know, Clemson's probably not in the playoffs.
Correct.
Even though Trevor was out.
Not even an ACC championship game.
Lose to Boston College, that's just kind of the end of the road for your goals. So, huge game, especially, as you said, for your first start, especially finding out just a few days beforehand.
48 hours.
He's got confidence. We know that. He's got the skills. We know that. Running game, I think, is going to be a little bit different. You know, we saw Trevor was a better runner than people thought. I still believe DJ is a better runner than Trevor, a more natural runner when he needs to be. So I think that will be another added advantage. You know, he's not Deshaun Watson, where he's going to be tiptoeing down the sidelines and diving in
he's
and
more
that
Cam
kind of
Newton.
stuff. But he's a good running quarterback as well. So that's going to be another weapon.
Yeah, exactly. Cam Newton, by the way, yes, but a better passer than Cam Newton.
Yes.
Cam Newton, not even close in college to being the passer DJ is right now. I mean, DJ completed 70% of his passes last season. I mean, he's very accurate passer. As we mentioned, his strong arm, but now you got that element, and you saw it against Miami, right, where they run the quarterback power on that third and short play, and that's what you're going to see more of. And I think that element, if Tony Elliott's going to love having that element, Robert, in this offense, because it's going to open a whole lot more things up for him.
Yeah, and I think open up is a key word, because I think we're going to see that passing game we're used to seeing, you know, 3 or 4 years ago on a more frequent basis. Obviously, we feel real good about the receivers that he's going to have to throw to, especially with Justin Ross being back in the mix. So a lot of reasons to be excited about the Clemson offense. Obviously, it's going to be critical to keep DJ healthy. If they do keep him healthy for the season, should be an outstanding season for the Clemson offense. So that's a little DJ primer. Obviously, you guys have seen him. We just thought we'd discuss what it means to the team for him to be the guy this year instead of backing up Trevor. We got it all covered for you. Stay tuned to the Clemson Insider. Going to have a ton of spring practice coverage this week. Going to have Bart out there as well. So stay tuned. We'll have everything we can, every little morsel we can provide to you. And Will and I'll be back in the studio a good bit to break things down, what we're hearing from the press conferences, what we're hearing maybe for some folks that are able to watch some of the practices and keep you guys as informed as we can. Stay tuned to TCI for the most complete coverage of Clemson football and recruiting.